Ann Coulter, of course, a best-selling author. Her latest book, In Trump We Trust, huge bestseller. And her column comes out every week. You should go to AnnCoulter.com. And make sure you follow Ann Coulter on Twitter and Facebook. Ann Coulter, how you doing?
Fine, thanks, Mark Simone. How are you?
Very good. Hey, Donald Trump is brilliant at trolling liberals. So he comes up with this idea of the military parade, knowing they will now spend 6 months leading up to the election opposing the military parade. He's taken them back to their anti-military roots.
What is the military parade for?
Just to
Oh, never mind. It's just trolling liberals. Okay, fine.
Yeah, well, actually, he went to France.
And saw how beautiful it is.
Bastille Day was so beautiful. Why don't we do that for our military? But he knew the liberals who would immediately go run to see a transgender parade are going to oppose the military parade.
That's probably true, though. I wish you would have the military parade after we bring them all home from the pointless war in Afghanistan. I think that would be a good occasion for it.
Well, but
he is the man that won the South Carolina primary by saying Bush lied us into war, which, just for the record, Bush did not do. But I would say that is a pretty strong stance against the Iraq War. And if you're against the Iraq War, which I was not, you are certainly against throwing away American lives in Afghanistan. What exactly are we trying to create there? Are we going to have a functioning democracy? Are we doing regime change? They don't even have working toilets in Afghanistan. No, this is just an utter waste run by the generals. But perhaps Trump would have a little more time to think about these things and not leave things in the hands of these Dr. Strangelove generals if his time weren't being consumed by the pointless Russian investigation. As we now know, it is pointless.
Hey, you see these new texts are coming out where these two sleazeball FBI agents, Strzok and the woman,
Page.
Lisa Page, are saying, she says President Obama is very interested. He wants to keep updated on everything we're doing, which means, because Obama at the time said, I am not speaking to anybody about this investigation. So that would be...
I think what we're going to be finding, and incidentally, a liberal friend of mine was warned by another liberal a year ago. He forwarded the email to me saying, hey, if you ever are thinking of getting into this whole global warming thing, warning, do not. It's endless, it's nonsense, it's all going to go away in a few years. Don't even waste your time on this. It's just a huge... Well, that's some kind of the way I feel about the Russia investigation. I know it's
interesting.
So I mostly don't pay attention, but every few months I get into it, I figure out what's going on, and I just end up really, really mad at the media. And also, particularly, I mean, what's coming out is how corrupt this Obama administration was. We knew that Obama had used the IRS to target conservatives. We knew he had used OSHA and EPA. Remember those big contributors to the Mitt Romney campaign after 20 years? Oh, and immigration services were suddenly had bureaucrats descending on their farms. OSHA, immigration. The one place Obama would enforce immigration laws was, against Romney supporters out in the Midwest. And now we know that even the terrifying police state powers of our government, which we do need for things like, the Tsarnaev brothers and the Pulse nightclub shooter in San Bernardino, but oops, it's not being used on them. It's being used against Trump supporters, and that's clearly what is coming out with this investigation.
Yeah, it's and now as you go to this talk of a government shutdown, and the president talking about border security. I mean, what is the actual argument against having border security? It's not politically correct. What is the actual argument against it?
Well, that's why, as I've been pointing out since before Adios America, the left's main move here, and by the left I mean the media, the entire media, other than a few talk radio hosts, the Democratic Party, half the Republican Party, half of the rest of the Republican Party pretending to care. Their objective is don't let Americans think about immigration. Just don't do it. We can't win this argument. There are no words you can use to fill up the segment on TV. We just don't want immigration even being considered as an issue. People can think about, Russia and what they think of the tax cuts and the stock market crash and abortion and the Iraq War, but don't let them think about immigration. It's an argument they can't win. Incidentally, I did notice today, I only watched about 10 minutes of TV while making breakfast. And the one thing that can get the media to talk about immigration is avoiding talking about the Russia investigation.
And when were you making breakfast? Like 11:30, right?
Right before I called in.
What a life you'll lead. So, I was watching one of those Sunday shows, one of these weasels, George Stephanopoulos or Chuck Todd. He was actually arguing with the guest, and he said, you talk to border people down there, agents, they're the experts, and they say they don't need a wall. What border agent ever said that?
Well, some may have. The one thing I'd say about that, which I've been trying to point out on Twitter, is that's the last person you want to ask. A border wall kind of eliminates their job.
Oh, well, yeah, but...
I mean, it's like asking, the buggy whip manufacturer, hey, do you think these cars are going to work? No, they'll never work.
Well, you'd still have the agents, but what agent wants to sit there with binoculars trying to watch 100 miles when you could have a wall?
Well, they have full employment guarantee.
That's true. So government
Check with Israel. I mean, Israel is our ally. We love Israel. Even Chuck Schumer loves Israel. They got a wall.
Well, 38 countries just built it.
Can we have them build our wall? And instead of having all these specs and, the prototypes, President Trump, how about we just use the same wall Israel has? They've been bragging. I mean, this hasn't gotten a lot of news in this country, but it has in Israel. Once the wall was completed every year, it's been like 4 years now, they're bragging. And once again, 0 illegal immigrants broke through our wall. Just year after year, 0 illegal immigrants. And you ought to see how they treat the illegals or invaders, as they are called. They have DNA tests. Even African Jews are sent back. A lot of these messianic groups are bringing in the African Jews, and they say, no, this doesn't fit in with our demographics. You're going to have to go home. They won't even send the invaders, as they call illegals, back to the countries they came from. They just, take them out and drop them in the desert.
Yeah. Hey, government shutdown. We only have like a minute left. We don't care about that, do we? I mean, it's fine with me if they shut down.
I will make a prediction.
Yeah.
The Democrats aren't going to shut the government down over the beloved Dreamers this time because, contrary to what the Democrats apparently believed, and it seems that President Trump believes, everybody hates the Dreamers. This is nonsense. There are no videos that can be shown of, children being torn from their grandmothers. No, that's not going to happen. There won't be videos. There's a lot we can get to before then. But these Dreamers, they're the Mexican Antifa. They're the protesters. I mean, people have more sympathy and actually quite like just your regular, hardworking illegal alien. The Dreamers, they're worse than MS-13. They're the ones showing up at Chuck Schumer's house, shutting down Nancy Pelosi speeches. No, all of us or none of us. They're just obnoxious protesters. They're the last people we want, which is why you will notice you don't really see him being interviewed very often.
That's a good point. Oh, and everybody check out Ann Coulter on Twitter and on Facebook. And the new column comes out tonight?
Yes, it does.
Well, sign up at AnnCoulter.com, or you'll see it on Twitter later tonight, and get her book, In Trump We Trust. And what's the other book on the borders, the one that...
Adios, America, the left's plan to turn our country into a third world hellhole. And I talk about an audience of one. I needed an audience of one, though I didn't realize it at the time, which was Donald Trump, who requested a copy before it came out. Meanwhile, I'm like sending it madly to Romney and Christie and all these other Republicans running for president. No, they just blow me off. Trump sees me being interviewed by Jorge Ramos and asks for an advance copy, and the rest is history.
Recommended reading by Donald Trump, Adios America. Ann Coulter, thanks for being with us.
Good to talk to you, Mark Simone. Bye-bye.
Take care.